Welcome Virgo to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 17th of June for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. We always need to be mindful of your ruling planet Mercury. So on the screen now you can see that Mercury is in a near perfect alliance with Venus, the planet of relating, but also the planet of loot. It's possible that if you have an interview or you're doing a presentation right at the start of this week, you're going to be able to articulate yourself in a very animated way. And also charm will take you far. Also Jupiter, the planet of growth and good fortune, is forging a fantastic alliance to Mars. If you recall, Mars moved into your sister Earth sign of Taurus last week, but clashed immediately with Pluto. Pluto's the planet of power. Mars is impatient in the ninth house. It doesn't like to be contained. It likes to be a free spirit. And perhaps something that you've been very adhered to and very conscientious about for a long time, perhaps that's something that you're wanting to examine and try some fresh approaches. And that could be around your work. In fact, your professional situation, or at least your goals and ambitions, has been a big part of this month's story for you. But you're now set to go through a big change, Virgo, because from the start of the week on Monday, once Mercury and Venus have aligned in Gemini, they move into the sign of Cancer. Now, Earth, as you are, carries water, so there's a natural conductivity between the sign of Cancer and the sign of Virgo. Your precision can flow through the Cancer prism, but particularly around your connections. And over the next month, you've got a glorious opportunity to bring a lot more sparkle and interaction to your social world. But also the 11th house that Mercury and Venus move into on Monday can be about our long-term future. It can also be about our higher values. It's not necessarily just about the material world. Sometimes we need to feel things at a heart level. So the people that you really feel that natural connection and chemistry with, they're the people who are going to excite you the most over the next 4 weeks. What's not to like? Well, it's just that Neptune in your opposite sign is providing somewhat of a dampener to the sparkle that initially Mercury and Venus can provide, and later on Thursday with the summer solstice the Sun can provide in Cancer. Why is this? Well, it's because Neptune is so late in the sign of Pisces. We almost have to think of it as being right on the first degree of Aries. So for you, that creates an 11th, 8th house dimension, which can be a little bit challenging because the 11th house is where we want to do the right thing. The 8th house is much more realistic about where we're most invested, but it's not so freedom orientated. And of course, Neptune can be a little bit distorted. So if you're talking about money, for example, Neptune being on that 7th, 8th house cusp, particularly around any kind of partnership, do be very, very careful to use your natural precision to protect your position. But then Venus and Mercury then clash with Pluto, followed by the Sun. Pluto, remember, is asking you to think very carefully about your obligations, your responsibilities, where you're conscientious, and it's pushing you to review those areas. So just as we have that collective of Mercury, Venus and the Sun moving into your 11th house, much more playful, interactive, much more about getting together with people, Pluto's saying, but hold on, you were on that strict diet. You were being very virtuous about what you were eating and drinking. But hold on, you could be doing overtime. You could be clearing up those domestic chores. Whereas those three are saying, let's just have fun. So you get a little bit of a challenge around that as well. In fact, by the time we get to the full moon on Saturday, you're going to be so much in demand, Virgo, it's going to be difficult to know who to let down gently. But it's really nice to have options. The 11th house energy is about your group of friends. The 5th house energy, where the moon is much more about what you need as an individual. But again, Neptune applies to this. So we've got the power of Pluto, could make you feel a bit guilty about not being virtuous. And Neptune in your 7th house can bring issues up about relationships, but I think more about where you could be guilt tripped a little bit about not quite doing what someone close to you feels you should be doing. But generally, this week starts with a huge opportunity to make a major breakthrough professionally. But as the week goes on, you could find yourself much more in the mood to have some downtime, to mix and mingle, to let yourself go a little bit. But it's important that you don't let Pluto ruin the moment. Have a great week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now.